Are you finding yourself not improving over time, or feel as if you hit this long plateau, or the feeling you get when you keep losing these very winnable gunfights? Well, today I'm going to show you how to truly get better in Apex Legends fast. So let's get straight to it. With Season 8 in the distance, I want to prepare you to dominate this next season from the very start. So I have 3 vital tips that go hand in hand on making you a more improved player overall. Without wasting too much time, let's get right into the first tip I have, which is shot selection. Your first engagement in a fight, whether it's a fair squad versus squad or even a third-party attempt, will have a drastic effect on how the rest of the gunfights will go. A good shot selection is what will help keep you in the advantage during a fight. So since we know this helps win more gunfights, what are the best ways to improve your shot selection? Well, to start, make sure you get the opportunity to fire first. When you have the first chances to pull the trigger, even for the most minuscule time ever, it will still have a big impact. Now, of course, a consistent shot to follow up is quite beneficial, but being the first to fire is the first step in improving. Alongside this is knowing your next move after your first bullet exchange. However, this can raise many questions like how much damage was traded, what's the fight's positioning, is there a massive armor difference? These split-second decisions add up and will conduct how the fight will take place. So always trying to be one step ahead will improve your decision making and shot selection as a whole. Lastly, create the most ideal situation for yourself, especially during those first engagements where enemy players haven't felt you out yet in terms of how good your shot is. Then surprising them with some massive damage in a few seconds will slightly throw their game plan off and lower their confidence. Now let's get into a quick example I have for you. Alright guys, we're hopping into the first example here with shot selection. Just came off of a squad fight, we cleaned up, and then we got third party. Me and Sweat were up for a few seconds. They started aping us. Everything went downhill. Now notice I didn't take the bat right away. I wanted to see if I was getting chased. I have some easy shots while they're in the air if that happens, but they don't chase. Then the Wraith actually took my grav lift up to heal, and exactly at that moment I thought I can beam her easily once she comes off that lift because she's going to get the stun effect. I knew Caustic was underneath me, so I figured I could drop on him, get the first shots. And notice when I dropped on him, I sent a few shots just to build up my damage, took a pause, then started firing again at him. Notice my shot was lazy, and at that moment, I needed to reload, reset myself, and then go for some more shots. Because when you start missing shots like that, and you only have one gun, I mean, the only thing you really can do is reload. So I figured I could do it ahead of time, dodge some bullets of his, and that's exactly what happened. Alright, beautiful people, that brings us into the next tip I have, which is when to fully commit. Or how others like to say, are we full sending this? Predicting the right time to fully commit to another team comes with experience and is what separates a good from average decision-making player, especially when going up against other experienced players. But hands down, one of the first steps on predicting whether to fully commit is after a first knock on the enemy team. Usually the team that gets knocked first is the one to fall apart easier since they have to reconsider the situation, which will cost them some time. So when fully committing, you can't stall for too long after the first knock. The faster you can close the gap on the team and force them to fight man down, the faster you can close out the squad fight. And how I always say, you want to try to make your squad fights as quick and clean as possible. So again, evaluate the situation, know when you have the upper hand, and then capitalize on it. And lastly, you need to get rid of all the nerves when fully committing. Being nervous will definitely cause you to make some bad decisions. Instead, try playing like you're going through the motions. Envision yourself dominating the fight with full confidence and don't second guess it. Now let's have a look at our next example for knowing when to fully commit. Alright guys, hopping into the second example I have for you guys where we just came out of Fragment right in that construction building after a few fights taking place there and managed to pick up and find a squad right in front of us rotating. And right off the bat, I noticed one was soldiered out to the left of my teammate and the other two were on me. And I saw some really good shots at this first horizon. Cracked or hit her a bit flesh, and that's exactly the moment I full committed. I knew it was a 1v2 from the start, and as soon as I got that damage off, it was basically a 1v1. The Horizon's not going to be peeking at me because I did so much damage to her, which leaves it a 1v1 situation at that time being versus the Bloodhound. So again, when you're talking about fully committing, you need to assess the situation. What happened during the exchange? Is it enough for you to fully commit to the fight? All right, ladies and gents, we are breezing right through this. And before I get into the last tip I have, if you enjoyed the video so far, a like rating is always appreciated and subscribing is free. Plus, you'll get to watch some amazing Apex content. Now then, let's get into the final tip I have, which is having clutch factor. When all odds are not in your favor, yet managing to come through and succeed is one of the best feelings ever. Being a clutch player is something everyone should strive for, and it's always something that can be improved in everyone's game. So how can you become a more clutch player? Well, this is when repetition comes into place. You know those high action-packed, intense gunfights when there's multiple enemies around, you can't keep track of much, but you are slowly finding a way through? Well, those are the moments you have to keep practicing over and over and making those uncomfortable situations as natural as possible. These intense moments are much more time crucial and have to be taken step by step. For example, knowing when it's the right time to heal, the right time to reposition, or the right time to engage. Being clutch requires small split-second decisions, one after another, to go in your favor with little to no room for mistakes. So practice being in those types of moments as much as possible. And also, don't be afraid to land hot and take hits with the RNG while multiple enemies are around you. Being better while working with less loot is the staple to great players' success. Remember, it's not always luck when you're the last team to come out of fragment. It was an opportunity met with preparation. Now let's take a look at our last example about clutch factor. Alright guys, this next example was actually from a live gameplay, and I was playing duos where my teammate ended up disconnecting, and I had a few squads that I took out and managed to clutch up on consecutively, squad after squad after squad. So I think it was a really good clip to watch. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch it through, and then I'm going to go back and then highlight some important areas. Oh! He's not slick. Oh, the one-shot clutch. Had one bullet left. Oh, squad up here as well. It's very similar.
Enemy removed from the
After finishing off the first squad, the second squad had some really good examples of shot selection and clutch factor. Now, shot selection, pay attention to my first engagement, my first set of bullets that I sent out of my weapon. How much did I hit for, and what was the damage traded? I hit for 114, re-change my positioning, and then go again. No damage was taken by me, but then I noticed a third party coming in, which now is my biggest threat. And as I always say, you want to take care of your biggest threat first. So black hold the other team for distraction, go to height with my grab lift and take a solid 1v1 fair fight. Thank you for spending a couple minutes every day with me. If you enjoyed today's video, like rating is always appreciated. We're also super close to 100K subscribers. So to anyone who subscribes, I'll kiss your forehead. With that said, I'm signing off. Peace.